good afternoon, members of the public. Thank you for joining us for this press conference, which has been prompted by two unfortunate situations involving visitors to the island. We're going to hear from Acting Chief Inspector Mr. Kenton Trott, who will provide an update on those two situations, as well as to provide some safety tips for visitors to the island. Mr. Trott?
Good morning, Bermuda public and members of the media. Police are seeking the public's assistance in two reports, one of a theft and one of a robbery, against visitors on our roads yesterday, which was Wednesday, the 27th of April, 2022. Around 3 p.m. yesterday, which was again Wednesday, the 27th of April, police received a 911 call from a member of the public that two women visitors were walking along Cut Road near to Floral Lane, St. George's, when a male on a dark-colored step-through motorcycle rode up to them and grabbed the bag from the 67-year-old woman, causing her to fall to the ground. Both women sustained minor injuries as they struggled with the suspect, who eventually escaped with the bag that contained cash, credit cards, and travel documents. The male suspect, who was described as slim-built, approximately 5'10" in height, wore a black long-sleeve top, dark-colored pants, and a glossy white helmet with a mirrored visor. A second incident occurred about 1:10 p.m. yesterday in Smiths Parish. A female visitor was riding a livery cycle west along South Road Smiths in the area of St. Mark's Church when a male dressed in all black, wearing a black helmet with a full-face visor, reportedly pulled alongside and grabbed her handbag containing an Apple iPhone, cash, bank cards, and driver's licenses from the rear carrier metal basket. The suspect then rode off along St. Mark's Road. The Bermuda Police Service is aware of these type of incidents which have occurred previously, and that often a spree of offenses follow until the offenders are apprehended. We will be conducting proactive patrols and vehicle stops with the intention of combating these crimes whilst reviewing CCTV coverage of the areas. However, the assistance of the public is critical in these incidents and identifying the subjects. If you have any information, please call Acting Sergeant Simon Frazier on 717-2462. You may also call 211. The police main line, which is 295-0011, or Crime Stoppers at 800-8477. We're also just going to give you some crime prevention advice as well. The vast majority of tourist-related offenses are crimes of opportunity. And so therefore it makes sense to take reasonable precautions to reduce your risk of becoming a victim to such crime. Number one, when you're at a hotel or guest accommodations, use the room safes if they are available. Do not leave items of value in plain sight. Number two, secure your room at night and when you are out for the day. When traveling around the island on rental mopeds, secure all your items in the basket or carrier provided. Cover it if necessary to prevent your property from being stolen or lost in transit. When at the beach or other tourist venue, never leave items of value unattended. When walking at night, use the main thoroughfares that are generally well lit. When attending a nightclub or bar, use common sense and never ever leave your drink unattended. Valuables in your hotel rooms, whether occupied or unoccupied, or left unattended on beaches or at other tourist venues, are more vulnerable to theft. Bermuda is a very small community with many neighborhoods. If in your travels you decide to walk into an area where you feel uncomfortable, then leave as quickly as possible. Reduce the chance that you may become a victim of crime by maintaining a full awareness of your surroundings. Should you have any concerns about your safety while on the island, contact your hotel or guest security manager. The local police service is available 24 hours a day, and we work from various stations across the island. Should you wish to report a crime or incident, then call the police at your earliest convenience. The Bermuda Police Service will be working with its tourism partners to assist in promoting these safety guidelines to our guests to help ensure that their time here is memorable for all the right reasons.
Members of the media, if you have any questions, please identify yourself and then ask your question.
Hi, Inspector Trott. Thanks for your time. Jasmine Patterson from Bermuda Broadcasting News. So Bermuda is typically known as a very safe destination for visitors, but with these two incidents, is there anything to suggest that that's changed after this?
No, there's nothing to suggest that. And at the moment, like we said, these are crimes of opportunity. So what we're trying to do is give public and give the guests and give everybody just that added bit of safety advice. So, for example, the items left in the basket, it's like an open gift waiting for somebody to take it. So what we're doing is making sure to give the appropriate advice, secure those items, give them less opportunity to commit those crimes. So no, we're not saying that Bermuda is a less safe destination. What we are saying is that people oftentimes on vacation let their guard down. So we want you to enjoy yourself, we want you to have fun, but make sure you take the proper precautions.
Now, the incident in St. George's, there was quite a struggle. It's not so much a case of a bag snatching out of a bike or anything. What would you have to say in terms of the level of danger that was posed there?
Right. Well, I mean, obviously every incident has its own merit, and what I want to encourage people to do is the valuable items that you might have are not worth the fun. So, for example, if you find yourself in that situation, let the items go. We'll try to recover them. You can always cancel your credit cards. I know those items are near and dear to you. However, there are also people that are operating in desperation. They just figured you'll just grab the bag and run, which is typically what happens. And then when she held on to it, it became a bit of a struggle. So we're not saying that it's less safe, and we're not saying anything like that. We're just saying for people to take the proper precautions and understand that, in those particular instances, it might have been out of desperation. But let the bag go. We can always replace those items.
And just one last question. It's only the beginning of the summer season. With these two incidents, how does that compare to previous summer periods in terms of crime against visitors?
Well, we can get our PMR to give you that information if you wanted anything statistically. However, what we can say is, as the tourists are coming back, obviously COVID is a lot of restrictions are getting lifted in many countries, so many tourists are coming back. People want to travel more, but we want to make sure that people are reminded to use those smart pieces, to use that advice that we're given to stay safe, secure your items, and maintain a sense of safety and security while you're there.
Good afternoon, Inspector. Gareth Finnegan from the Royal Gazette. Could I ask, do you think that visitors are perhaps more prone to these sorts of crimes because when they're here they drop their guard down, they sort of think, okay, we're in beautiful, safe Bermuda, and they're on vacation, and they perhaps don't take the precautions that they should do?
I mean, and I think that's something that happens around the world. I mean, when I go on vacation, I'm not a police officer, so I kind of let my guard down, let my hair out, even though I don't have much anymore. But what we're saying to people is just a gentle reminder to say, hey, yes, Bermuda is beautiful. It's paradise. It's the best place in the world. But you still have to take those precautions to make sure that you're not giving somebody opportunity to get, take out of your items or steal your items that you have. So we're saying, yes, enjoy yourself, have fun, love Bermuda, come back as often as you can. And we want to make sure that with this safety advice, you're able to come back and not have any an experience that you want to forget.
Sure.
So we encourage you to come, encourage you to have fun, encourage you to enjoy yourself, but take the proper precautions.
Okay. Now, you mentioned that there have been other crimes against tourists. Do you have any details of any of those? For example, of hotel accommodations been broken into, anything like that? Is there a pattern at the moment? Or
we wouldn't say it's a pattern, like you said. These are the first two most recent incidents. Obviously, on previous occasions, previous years, this has happened. And as we said, because the tourist season is upon us, as you can see, there's plenty of tourists around here today. Just standing here for a few minutes, we saw them. We just want to make sure that everyone is safe. So if you need anything statistically, we can always reach back out to you from our PMR. But these are the first two that have happened, so we want to kind of get that advice out there, get people to understand, get people to remember, hey, come, have fun, enjoy yourself, but take the precautions to make sure to keep safe.
Okay. Now, one of the pieces of advice that you gave was for people not to leave their drinks alone if they're out in a club or whatever, or in a bar. Presumably that's because there are concerns that they could be spiked, perhaps. And,
I mean, on previous, that has happened previously, and not just here, in many jurisdictions. It's always a risk of, everybody heard of the date rape drugs and stuff like that. So what we're saying, we want to give the most complete advice as possible. So we're just letting people know all the possible avenues that they can do to just make sure they're protected. Because as you let your guard down on vacation, you might leave your drink unattended. So we just want to make sure people are enjoying themselves, but safely.
Okay. Inspector Trott, thank you so much.
You're very welcome.
Any other questions?
Thank you very much.
Members of the media, thank you for joining us this afternoon. If you have any further questions, please feel free to email them to us and we will provide a timely response.